Good evening, and welcome to Method in Madness. Today is a Sunday, a different day. Usually we do it on Saturdays. So I would like, first of all, to ask everyone who is there with us today, our viewers, which day do you prefer? A Saturday 7 o'clock show or a Sunday 7 o'clock show? So please write down on your comment section on the live chat which show time do you prefer, where you can give in your time and where you think your friends can also log in and watch our show live. Today, we're going to talk about Shakespeare again. A few weeks ago, we did speak about Shakespeare and why children should not learn Shakespeare, as in read Shakespeare or rote learn Shakespeare. Shakespeare was supposed to be watched or to be played. Graham Watts was here with us, an expert in First Folio Shakespeare, who spoke about how Shakespeare should be enjoyed acting out or watching. Today, we have a different way of looking at Shakespeare, and that's gaming. And gaming, I think those who have been regular viewers of our show know that gaming is very close to my heart, and I really enjoy the fact that a lesson can be made into a game. If we make an entire subject or a chapter of a subject into a game, that becomes very, very interesting for students to learn. Today, we're going to talk about how gaming can be brought into Shakespeare. And to talk about that, we have Moos Deripon. Moos is a choreographer and director. She is a master's in arts, and she's an expert in drama, theater education, and serious gaming. Her sessions are based on the two most important skills for a coach: the ability to ask good questions and the ability to listen effectively. Moose sees physical action as a form of physical communication. The motto of dance pioneer Graham reverberates through Moose's work. Movement never lies. So today we have Moose with us, and Moose is joining us from France.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, Moose.
Bonjour. Vaishali.
Namaste from here.
Namaste.
So a little bit about what we're going to do to all our audiences. Moose and I are going to talk for the next 45 minutes. And then we're going to take your questions. And we'll be very delighted if you could join us throughout the show through the live chat section. So, Moose, shall we begin?
Yes, let's begin.
All right. Last year, I guess, we met at Kerala. You know, the Kerala Museum.
Yes.
And I had just finished a game-based drama workshop, and you had come as an audience. And I'm glad you came, Moose, because otherwise I wouldn't have known that gaming is such important and such an international thing.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about why gaming, what intrigues you in gaming, and where does Shakespeare come into gaming? So let's start with why gaming.
Why gaming? So games are everywhere. Everybody has experience with gaming. And if you play a game, mostly you enjoy it. You enjoy to play a game. You step into another world. It's just like theater. We make our own rules. We make our own world, and we step into this world. We can also step out the world. So if you step into a game, it's not really serious. That's why we enjoy. We can enjoy. It's not like if we lose a game, we die, or if we lose a game, we cannot go to another level. In school, if we get a 0, we cannot go to another level. It's not a game, it's reality. So for children, if you always you don't get high rates, you get disappointed, you lose your interest, and you lean back. The other thing in school is that you normally listen to the teacher. So we call this lean back learning. You sit, you lean back, and you listen. So it's not from yourself, from your own intrinsic motivation, but it's somebody else tells you what to do, what you have to learn, why it is important. So it's from the outside. As a child, you have always the creative, you want to learn. It's in a child, if you are 2, 3 years old. But we see if children are more and more older in the school, they lose their interest.
Hmm.
So why gaming is get more and more important, got more and more important, because in the world where I was in, we try to find out how we could motivate our children to learn. And then there was this gaming item. Why we use these games? Because we want children to use the intrinsic way of learning. They have to do it by they have to want to learn. That's one very important thing. And the other thing is the world has been changed. Children from very young age start to play with computers. They start to find their own information in the computer. They try they game on the computer. So they are used to learn in a different way already. And as a teacher, we still teach on the old-fashioned way of teacher, student, and we give that information just from one side. So what we want to enlarge and to invoke the curiosity of children by using games. So what are games? What is important about games? The playfulness. You step in another world, you cannot lose anything. The option to fail, if you don't get into this game and you cannot kill the opposite person, the bad person, you can get another chance. Yes. And on school you don't get another chance because you have to do the whole class again, or you have to work hard to get a high degree afterwards. But in a game, it's not a problem if you lose. Okay, we do it again. We try it again. And if we try it again, we can try it on a different way. So we start to think, how can I win? What can I do to win? So it's not a problem to fail. And for me, to fail is to learn. You do something wrong. How can I do it in a better way? What is important in gaming? So it's the second one is the joy, the fun, winning and losing. You are in another reality. And then I put it on paper. In a game, we call it competence. You have the feeling you can do it. It's never too hard or too easy. You can solve something because in a game the games are made like that everybody can find its own level, because we are building levels. If you finish one level, you can go to the other level. If it's too difficult, people will stop gaming. If the game is too difficult, you put it away. So you have to try to make the game not too easy, not too simple. So people have the feeling, I'm good at something. I can do it. I like it because I'm very fast because of these levels. You can make your autonomy. You can make your own strategy. How to do it. You can make your own choices. How to solve the problem. How to do so. So in class, in school, you have to do this way, and in gaming you can open up, you can find your way. Maybe you can Like in the Monopoly, maybe you know it.
Mm.
You can be honest, but you can also be not honest. You can be making tricks. You can look to somebody and make very straight. So you can also play with this, and you can make your own ideas of how to do something. And also the other last thing is the relatedness. You belong to something. You are with the group of people and who are playing this game.
Where does Shakespeare come in this?
All right, that's a long story.
Yes.
But what I found out, this world you step in with these rules, the theater is the same. It's also you step into a world with different rules. And when I was a professor at university, I was finding a way how we can integrate theater in gaming. So one thing is very easy because theater is already a game of doing something, being someone else, of playing. And then we wanted to teach the children Shakespeare on a very playful way. Because I found it is very important for children to know what is Shakespeare. The other way, why I wanted to work with Shakespeare, because Shakespeare is always mirroring life.
Yes.
Especially for children, like I choose for Hamlet, for children like 15, 16, 14, 15, 16 years old, because Hamlet is between the child and the grown-up. And I wanted children to think about it, to feel that, to understand that people can understand, that they could think about their to mirror their feelings with
Or
Hamlet.
relate or connect to the characters that they're playing.
Yeah, especially to Hamlet,
To
because
Hamlet.
because Hamlet is in the middle of a grown up and a child, and then he finds out the world of the grown ups. It's all about lying. Nothing is true. So then he is like, I don't want to get into this world. He gets angry, and I think a lot of youngsters are have this feeling, this angriness, this no, I don't want to belong to this world, and I wanted to do something about this idea.
Mm. Mm.
So
Why did
there's
you choose? Oh, sorry. Go on, Moos.
no,
Go
no,
on.
I finished already. So
All
that's
right.
where
So
Shakespeare came in for me. The first time that Shakespeare came in for me. Yeah,
yes, because Shakespeare, I mean, his plays are loved across the world. And when we were young, when we were growing up, we would have these small textbooks, storybooks, which would have Shakespeare's stories in it. So we would read them, but we never thought of making it into a game. And I'm really intrigued to know how you go about creating a game out of a Shakespearean play. Can you tell us a little bit about how you took Hamlet and how did you create a game out of it? If you could
yeah,
share little elements of what you've done, some elements of what you've done.
yeah. The first time because I make several games from this idea from Hamlet. But the first
Mm-hmm.
one was that because we as in Holland we don't get these textbooks of Shakespeare. Most children don't know anything about Shakespeare. Um, and we wanted our youngsters who would visit the game, they would be intrigued by Shakespeare and they would start to read Shakespeare afterwards, or would start to get interested in this. So we made it a very modern way. We invited. Yeah, can I show a little film or something?
Um, if you, I don't know how you can show it, but we can always do that. If you have a link, you can share it. We can show it to our participants.
Share
So
it
you
up
can share it on the chat, and I can then play it for our participants a little later.
later. Yes. Um,
Yes.
the first time we send the video to all schools, and we asked them come to the theater because there's a murder. Somebody is
Hmm.
murdered. We want you to come and to solve the problem. We did it on a kind
Okay.
of then we took one thing out of the Hamlet is the killing
Of the father.
of the father of Hamlet, and we wanted to find out the children to find out who did it.
The, okay, who did it?
So the children came into a party in the theater, and then suddenly somebody was killed, and then they had to find out who did it. That was very simple, and we saw all the characters walking around, and they could ask them questions. Like the Hamlet was there, Ophelia was there, the mother was there. So all the characters. So they learned to get to know all the characters. And in
Moose, I think you can share your screen and you can show us the video if you would like to.
I can show you the video what we sent to the. Uh,
To the schools, is it?
um,
So, just to let everybody know, we're talking with Moose Derripon, and we're talking about how to bring in Shakespeare and play a game about a Shakespearean play. Right now, we're talking about Hamlet and how Moose kind of created a whodunit game based on the play Hamlet. So Moose is about to share her screen and share with us what she had done, a small video perhaps. But no worries if it is not working, Moose, because
uh,
technology is technology. It does not work at times.
I'm not used in this program. Oh yeah, share screen. Let me see.
As Moose is sharing her screen, one question, a quick question to all our viewers over here. What do you think? Which play do you think could become an amazing game that we could play? So Moose just said that she started the game with a party happening in the theater, and the children come into the theater. There's a party happening, and boom, somebody's dead. Similarly, which Shakespearean play? Let's talk about that. Which Shakespearean play do you think would make a great game? There you go. Moose is sharing her screen now, and this is the video.
So it's very, it's it's very short. It was just an experiment. The only thing was we wanted to invoke the curiosity of the students, to invoke Midsummer Night's Dream. Yeah, yeah. To invoke the children to come and to find out what was happening. And they got all a kind of, they were all like policemen coming in and getting another role. So that was
Okay.
another thing. What I found out with gaming, if you don't mind,
Mm.
game you get into a role very quickly, or you are getting a soldier, or you are being a soldier, or you are being a pilot, or if you're playing a game, you are playing a role very quickly. That was the other thing where gaming and the theater is related. You don't have you are very quickly you step into another role, and here the children stepped into the role of policeman.
Of policemen. So basically, it's a role play game that you bring in, and then the children solve a mystery, uh, being in the character of that
Ex-
policeman.
yeah.
Okay. So when you plan your game moves, what are the things that you keep in mind? How do you choose a play to kind of create a game out of it, or do you have the game already in your head and then you choose a play? uh, how do you go about that?
I always want. I'm always thinking about the goal. What do I want children to learn or to tell or to to as for this age? Hamlet was for a perfect. So I did it several times on different ways. Another way I worked with Hamlet was that children were divided into groups of audience, and during the game there were. Can I show you another little?
Please, please
Yeah,
go ahead. Yeah, sure.
let us see. The second one. Um,
So I just have Ganapati talking with us right now. He's mentioned that Midsummer's Night Dream could be a good content for gaming. Uh, any other play? I think Macbeth can be a great gaming
yeah,
play as well, which we can bring into
exactly.
game.
Exactly.
Yes, because it has a lot of mystery, and these three witches that come in can become the clue masters who can keep throwing clues at the players.
This is on a school. Looking for that girl. I'm looking for that girl. I'm looking for that girl. That girl. That girl. Sings. I'm looking for that girl. I'm looking for that girl. I'm looking for.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's also say empathize is also a very important goal. Always what I'm doing, that people can. Merchant of Venice is very popular. Yes.
Yes, there are few plays, Moos, which are very popular in India. Night's Dream is one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because almost all schools have this and they do it for their annual school play. So we usually do Summer Night's Dream, or we do Merchant of Venice. And in high school, we do have these plays that we have to read, to study, to answer questions.
Yeah.
For instance, we have The Tempest, we have Much Ado About Nothing. Uh, so I think these are great plays to kind of create a game with. Now, there are a lot of teachers who are watching us, Moose. What what ideas can you share with the teacher? What can the teacher do when she's planning a game? I mean, are there any steps that you can share that you yourself found really, really helpful?
Yes. Um, so a game are have three elements: the mechanics, the dynamics, and the aesthetics. The mechanics is like the rules of the game.
Hmm.
Um, the first you think like, what for who am I making the game? Am I making which age? You
Hmm.
want to make a game like very dynamic, or you want a game like very uh, much thinking,
Psych. Yeah. Hmm.
silence, concentration. So, what
Hmm.
is your goal with the game? What do you want to learn? So that's the most important things. Um, and then you think about the mechanic of this,
The game, the rules of the game.
yeah, the goals, the setting, um, the boundaries of the situation to be gamified. Um, for example, in chess, the mechanics include decisions that have determined the number of pieces.
Hmm.
This is in chess. So you have to think about how I organize this. Then the dynamics. What are the children supposed to do? Do you want them to act? Do you want them like the second play? I wanted them to find out there's a murder. The second one, I wanted them to ask questions. Um, so to see the game, and during the game, I wanted them to answer the questions. So I wanted them to get interest into the game, into the play,
Mm.
or you want them to just to have fun. You want them just to run, or you want them just to collaborate. It's a very important one. That's what you saw that very quickly.
Mm.
And the last one, the aesthetics, is the emotion you want them to have. You want them
Mm.
to be very interested, or you want them to be very happy. You want them to be very um,
To be empathetic.
empathetic.
Mm. Hmm.
So that's very important. And then you think in the play, you find out in the play. If you take it's not easy from also for me. You find in the play a subject you want to make the play.
Yeah.
You want to make the game around.
Mm.
Um, so I cannot give you easy rules. But
Mm.
you have to. The most important thing is you have the goal.
You have you need to have the learning outcome, the learning goal, what you want the children to learn by the end of the game.
You want what you want them to experience.
Okay. Usually in a game, Moose, there is an element of strategy and chance. How much of chance do you think you include in your rule book? I mean, how much space do we have for luck to play a role? How how luck plays a role in your game, or do they play any role in your game?
Sometimes, because I make a Hamlet game and I give make cards of every role.
Mm-hmm.
I give these cards to the children, and they got a
Mm-hmm.
role. That's luck. If you have Hamlet, or you have a very nice role, or you don't have a role you don't like, so that's maybe
Mm.
the luck you have play in the game, or the group you work together with. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the other thing is, I'm thinking that's the most. I think the most is that the group, the collaboration. Um, but most of the time, luck is not the most essential in my games.
Mm. And especially when you are working on a text which is already there, how do you think about the fact that children can deviate from the text and go and reach some other a different conclusion which is not there in the play? So suppose they find they kind of don't find that it was Hamlet's uncle who had killed Hamlet's dad. They find somebody else to be the killer. How do you cope with these outcomes? The outcomes could be varied, right? When you're playing a game, which might not follow the route or the progression of the play itself, the text itself. So, as a teacher, where do you put a stop, or do you put a stop? Do you let them play? How do you go about that?
In the end, everybody had to find out who was the murderer. All the groups they were in groups, and there was one winner in the end.
Hmm.
So if you find out something else, I think it's very good if you really find something another solution. But you're not the winner at the end. Um, so I like to work with winners, and there were a lot of discussion with my students. So why always have this winner? But I found out that in this game uh, world, you can work with winners and losers because it's
Hmm.
not reality. You
It's
can say
not reality.
and you forget about it.
Hmm.
It makes it more. It makes it more exciting, I think.
It does. Tell us a little bit about your experience as a teacher, Moose. You have been teaching theater at college level. What do you think the children really need as in terms of skill or life skill? which can be gifted to them through a game. So, what is it that you think children lack the most, and what does gaming give those children?
Autonomy,
Okay.
they can do it the way they would like to do it. Intrinsic motivation, to motivate them. Collaboration.
Hmm.
Um, Another one was to play, just to have fun. Um, the they can fail. They don't
Hmm.
worry about failing. They can have a second chance. Um, um, Empathy.
Yes.
Lots of things. Energy.
Can you
I
share?
when I used the gamification, I saw a lot of difference. When I did it the first with my students, I made a very small game, and then
Hmm.
after that, I had to do I had a talk with my colleagues. I had to have, and so I said, okay, you start with a game. I come back in half an hour, and you start this game. And then I was sitting with my colleagues, and I looked through the window, and I saw my students running through the hallway, and enjoying and laughing and doing things I never saw before in my class. So that's why my eyes were open. I thought this is something very important for a teacher.
Hmm. Uh, can you share a changing story, like somebody who was very different and she or he changed the way he or she was after your game? Have you made any note of such student who really changed after your Hamlet game?
Yes, because roles change during a game, or
Mm-hmm.
I give them roles, or the roles are changed by luck. Because there was one game we used. I don't know how to call this. With this during a game, you have a dobbelsteen. I'm going to find the translation. This wooden block with these numbers.
Okay.
You know how to call it?
The wooden blocks with numbers on it.
Yeah. You throw it. You get one,
Uh,
two, or you get
the
three.
dice. The dice.
The dice, yes.
The dice.
They had
Yeah.
to they
Okay.
had to throw the dice, and then um, they got a group. So we had a group of six, and we had a group of two at the end. So the group of two came to me like, we cannot do it. We are only two. I said, yes, you have to. You have to do it. It's in the game. It's all in the game. At the end, they found out so many things that they never should do without doing this game. Or they
Mm.
worked with people they never should work with without the game. So they found solutions. They had to find a solution in this game during this game. So that was a very big change for a lot of students afterwards.
What is the next game that you're working on, Moose, right now?
You
Which
know,
next? I know, but our audience does not.
this
So
game.
maybe we can share it with our audience and get more
Yeah,
ideas.
yeah,
Probably, yeah.
yes. Please help me. I'm working on Othello. What my aim was, what my goal was, is to get empathy to find. Maybe I can tell you something else because I make a lot of steps towards the Othello game because I make a game for a museum in the Netherlands,
Hmm.
and I wanted to the audience to look through the eyes of somebody else, to get into the head of somebody else. What I did, I had 4 interviews with, also for young people, 4 interviews with, one was with a football player, one was with a refugee, and 2 other people. These 4 people I had asked to walk through the museum with,
Hmm.
to speak in the text. We took the text and they spoke about several items in the museum. So they walked through the museum, they spoke about it like 10 minutes, and we record this. Then we
Hmm.
ask children to come to the museum and to choose between the four characters, the four stories. We put the headset on with
Hmm.
the recorded story and to walk through the museum and to look through the eyes of the person. Yeah, so
I get you. Hmm.
look to the items and they heard the story, like the refugees saw something and he said, this remembers me to my this or to my homeland, or the football
Hmm.
players, I was broke my leg one time when he saw it. So the children saw how people look different in the museum, for instance.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it made them think about other people. It made them think about themselves. What is the
Hmm.
difference between me and the other people? Do I like this subject?
Hmm.
So they got another experience in this museum. So from there, it makes me think because I have very nice idea for all the people watching a very easy game with the
Um, I think we have lost Moose, but do stay tuned. Moose and I, we are talking about gamifying Shakespeare. Oh, Ganapati has something very interesting to share.
yeah,
Ganapati, yeah. Hi,
yeah,
hi, Moose. Yes, sorry, we
yeah,
lost you for a bit.
yeah.
Yeah. So you were talking Ganapati. I'm going to come back to you. Ganapati has shared a very important information about him being a teacher and what he used to do. But Moose, do go on. Yes.
I have a very nice idea for all the people watching. A very easy game with the
Hmm.
maybe I don't know if it's possible with the telephone.
With the phone. Okay.
What you could do is to ask people to use the telephone and to film like 5 minutes small routes you can walk through the school or through the and you speak what you see, you tell what you're seeing, you film the ground or you film the ceiling or you film everything you see at the moment you normally would see, you normally look towards, and you speak in the telephone. Then you film this, you record this, then you give the phone to somebody else and
Okay.
to ask the other person to see the film and to walk the same way as the other one. So you get the experience of looking through the eyes of somebody else.
Hmm.
So that's for me it's a very simple, it's not, it's a very simple game, but mostly people are very, they like very much to find out how we look, how other people look to something. And it's the beginning of empathy, of
Hmm.
finding out how somebody looks to it. So
All
now
right.
Othello.
Hmm.
Othello is what I did is to take Othello and I wanted to tell the story in four different ways. And I rewrote it to the story of Desdemona, the story of Othello, the story of Jaco, and the story of, now I forget about the two other characters. Um, the two others.
Ca-
Yeah,
Cassius?
Cassius. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I left them. I left them. I keep three stories because it's too. And
Hmm.
when you look to the place, some things Othello sees. We as an audience, we see also the other story. We see also the story of Desdemona. We see everything together. But if you only see through the eyes of Othello, you see a completely different story. And
Yes,
that's
you
what
do.
I'm trying to get this clear. But now I'm trying. So I filmed. Uh, I asked. I make all monologues, and I ask actors to play out these monologues.
Hmm.
Am I clear?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I asked them to play as monologues. So now I'm trying to get a game out of this all these monologues. and to find out if I can, uh, if the audience can have a conversation with these characters
These characters. Hmm.
online. So it's an online game. It's not a
It's an
live.
online game. Oh, there you go, Mitali. Mitali Bhattacharya was asking, how do you do this in a virtual class? So,
Yeah.
online class. So, there you go, Mitali. Moose is now designing Othello, which is an online game. Moose, will it be available for everybody to play, or just your students will be privileged to play this game with you?
No, I hope it will be an online game for everyone. That's my aim.
Great.
That's my aim, that you can play it in the classroom and you play Othello in the classroom. So people learn about Othello, people learn about empathy, and they learn, and they enjoy to play the game.
Moose, you
Uh,
also worked with college students on taming of the shrew. So, how was that experience? You worked with some college students in Kerala, in Kochi.
yeah,
That's where we met. So, tell us a little bit about what was that. Was that a game, or were you doing just a play?
that was just a play. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, but what I did was to make their own play. It's not really a game, but I used the game of the shrew,
Hmm.
and I make a discussion about this, and I wanted to tell them to tell their own stories by playing uh, this play. So it was not a game, but the girls told their own stories during the play. It became their play. So Shakespeare is there are so you can find so many themes, um, so many stories in Shakespeare. You can always every play you can make it as you want it to be. You
Hmm.
can light something up and you forget about something else. So the play get a different subject, a different idea.
Yes. And I think we can copy this to other texts also, other than Shakespeare. We can also play games.
Yeah,
But Shakespeare is so interesting. It has got all the nuances of life.
yeah,
It has got revenge. It has got love. It has got a lot of basic human emotions, which makes Shakespeare so lively and game like. So I think, yes, Shakespeare is a good choice to bring games into classroom.
yeah.
uh,
There's a
let's
lot of
let's take,
allegories. Yeah,
yeah, which
it has
one?
a
Go
lot of
on.
allegories. It has a lot of allegories. Allegories.
Allegories. Yes, allegories. Yes, it does. It does. And metaphors as well, because metaphors make great plays, I think, and it makes great games also. So Moose, last year, I think you also played that game with me. We had started something called Smoke and Mirrors, and we do play it with teenagers who
Wow.
done it game based on Arthur Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes case files. So I think that is also something that can be brought in as a game rather than just telling the story.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So bringing in classic plays, classical stories through game is a brilliant idea. It helps the children enjoy, and I think the teachers enjoy a lot. I enjoy a lot when I play a game with my students.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what do you have to
yeah.
say to teachers? What should they look forward to? Tell me.
What should you look forward to?
Yeah, when you're playing a game,
Yes.
so because here teachers, not here, everywhere across the world, teachers are worried about, oh, the child has learned this or not. I have to make sure the child has learned what I wanted them to learn. How can the teacher kind of forget about it for some time and be involved in the game and enjoy the game along with the students? I
I
mean,
think the teacher should sometimes think another way around. What should I learn from the child? What could I learn from the child during the game? And I think the most teachers would be astonished, because
hmm,
if you give children uh, the strength, they can learn you a lot. and each other. They can learn. I always think children learn the most from each other. They
Yes.
learn from a teacher. They learn the most from each other, from their peers. And that's what I, as a teacher, think is the most important thing. I try always to think, how can I let them learn from each other instead of from me?
All right. Time to
Um,
take some questions, Moose. We have first we'll take a comment. This is by Ganapati. Ganapati has written to us that I used to teach chess. I always lose the game, make the child win. Ask them why are they moving a coin and help them to think. There is so much of joy in making them the winner and losing yourself as a teacher. I think this is brilliant, Ganapati. I
brilliant.
think
Yes, very good. And they give them a very strong feeling afterwards. Very good. Yeah.
yes, yes. When you, I think most when I do that also, and all my, I mean, all my co-teachers, we do this in our classrooms that we fail in front of our teachers. Sorry, in front of our students deliberately,
Yeah.
so that the children know that oh, it's okay to fail. It's okay if the teacher also fails. That means we can also fail and be all right about it. Uh,
And
yes,
it's
I
not
think
important. And it failing is very important because you will fail several times in your life. And if you always, if and you have to learn to fail and to learn from that
yes,
instead of
true.
it's another learning point. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, let's look at a question. There was a question somebody asked. Okay, Nupur Purkayastha has asked that which part of the Tempest could be played like a game. Now, the very uncanny thing about this is Moose and I had started work on the Tempest, and that is
That's
lying
true. I
half
just
baked.
saw it. I just saw it. Before this, I was reading about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Tempest, I think it makes. Moose, would you like to take that question? Which part of the Tempest would be?
You can take it. Tell
So,
me.
The Tempest is one of my favorite plays. I have done that with my children as a play. We have produced that, and I do a lot of Tempest extracts with my other older children when they're preparing a monologue. Now, Tempest has an amazing geography. So it is based, it's placed in an island and on an island, and then you have three different places, points in the island where people kind of survive. So there's a shipwreck, and then people survive. So I think every part of Tempest can become a game. So a group comes to one part of the island. What do they find, and how do they respond to that? Another group comes to another part of the island. What is kept for them already at that part, and how do they respond? And slowly, it can become like a treasure game. Finding treasure game
Yeah.
where we keep putting clues, and they all come to where Prospero's cell is. So, Ariel could be a character who keeps throwing clues everywhere because Ariel is the only character who visits all the four parts of the island, including where Prospero resides. So that is something that you can look at, Nupur. We are still working at the game. I don't know when this lockdown is going to get
And
over, and we are going to meet and give this game a proper shape. But it was an amazing idea, and I think we are going to carry that idea forward, Moose. I'm not going to let that go.
you're right. And, and
All right.
and now you're also looking to the Othello game, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know because that's a mind game, and I'm really scared of mind games. So I'll definitely try and create something around that, and maybe Othello becomes a game which is available online for all of us to play.
Yeah.
But definitely, Smoke and Mirrors is something that I can invite all of you to come and play. Moose had come and she has given her a valuable feedback, and I've tweaked the game, taking Moose's feedback. But that's a fantastic game. I love playing it, and I love playing with the players. Um, Okay, so can we have some more questions over here? I think we have lots of comments. Mitali is saying students try to be our replica and teacher can see her reflection in the children. Yes. That's right. That's absolutely right, Mitali. Our children are our reflection, so we better be good. We better be the way we want our children to be. Um, Mitali is also saying that Julius Caesar would be a great play to look at as a game, a political game. What do you think about that, Moose?
Yeah, it's most about love, I think.
Love and loyalty.
Yeah, love and love.
Uh, Love and loyalty. I think yes, that is
Loyalty is
something.
a good idea for a game. Yes. When you start, when you end to be loyal to one another.
Yes. Oh,
Good
that's
question.
great. When do you stop being loyal to one another?
Yeah.
That's a great emotion to explore, I think. And good that Shakespeare gives us these questions to ask. Are you really loyal? Because when we are playing a role in a Shakespearean play, we usually, pull that part of us which we do not want to address, that
Mhm.
we do not want to see, because there is a person who wants revenge in us. There is a person who is not loyal in us. So I think Shakespeare helps to find those hidden
Right.
people inside you. Yes, and that's the reason, if we can play with Shakespeare's game, with Shakespeare's plays, it's a fantastic way to acknowledge the so-called negative emotions within you, as well as the positive
Yeah.
emotions within
It
you.
goes together always.
Yes. Yes, Mitali, I also feel Caliban teaches a wonderful lesson. We can talk about discrimination when we talk about Caliban and Prospero. We can talk about oppression when we are talking about Caliban and Prospero. So, if I would like to teach my children about oppression and how to voice out your will, maybe I look at a different aspect of the Tempest. Exactly what
Mhm.
Moose said, that whatever your goal is, you can actually tweak your game around that. All right. So I think we have come to an end of our session, Moose. It was fantastic having you. And let me tell everybody, Moose is sitting in France right now, and she's creating this amazing space, performance space for people to go learn, teach, and make theater and make games. So, those who are watching, please let us know how you liked this particular episode. If you have any questions for Moose or me to answer, please do write it in the chat section. We'll definitely look it up later and send you an answer. Also, do subscribe to our channel. Like our channel, and we will be posting and doing more conversations like this around education, around children, and around making learning fun. So
Yes,
thank
and
you, Moose.
I would like to say,
Yes.
if you want to follow my center, you can follow W Xi.fr. I text it to you.
Okay. So
Xi.fr.
yes, so it's yxie.fr. That's the website which will tell you about the performance space and whatever Moose is doing. Uh, we haven't spoken about the other aspect of Moose, which is that of a performance maker. She's an amazing physical theater artist, and I have done a workshop with her, and my team, my theater group, has done a workshop with her, and she's just fantastic. So thank you, Moose, for doing this conversation with
I
us.
have to do it. Ah, great. Xi.fr. It's upcoming. It's not, you cannot see a lot, but in the time it will become bigger and bigger.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night, Moose. You have a
You?
good day.
It's
What time is it there?
it's 3:25 in
Oh,
the
so
afternoon. In the
so
afternoon.
good in the afternoon. So a good evening to you, Moose, then, and a good night to everybody who are watching us from India. And
Thank
thank you,
you.
Moose, and see you soon.
It was my pleasure to be there, and I see you soon.